Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at my round two game played at the Marchand Open in Rochester, New York. This game, I surprisingly faced someone rated only 1491 despite winning my first game, which feels weird, but okay. and, well, he must have won his first game too. That's probably the main reason. And well, let's get right into it. I won my first game, so was looking forward to maybe getting a second win. So I play my normal repertoire at this tournament. That is what I decided to do way ahead of time. And so we have Bishop c4, the Italian game. He went knight f6, the two knights defense, which is the same thing that I play as black. And I played knight to g5, which I think is a very interesting move. Bobby Fischer said it's the only way to play for an advantage. But probably, d3 is okay, and there are several other moves that are okay. Actually, I'm kind of wondering about d4 in this position. I think d4 is playable. d4. Yeah, the two knights defense open variation. This is a move that I'm actually interested in learning myself. I think it would be nice to pull that out from time to time. But anyway, knight g5, so he played d5. Gotta block that diagonal. And I took. And now, almost always, they play knight a5. There's a couple other weird moves here, though. And my opponent played one of them. Knight to d4. So this is the Fritz variation. And, well, I've started playing this myself with the black pieces. And I've also studied it from the white side. So I was, fairly happy to see this on the board. I mean, it's not every day that you get an opening that you just looked at like a week or two ago. So I was like, okay, I'm going to kind of know what I'm doing here. So I decided to go with the main line, which is the move c3. And we're attacking the knight. And now normally they go b5 here, counterattacking our bishop. And then my understanding of this opening, notice that you cannot take here because the knight's guarding. So my understanding of this opening is that we have to drop our bishop back to f1. This is like the main line. And you can see that the point of this is that after takes, and takes, okay, we have g2 covered, which is often important. Although I am curious, because then we go here. So what was the point of bishop f1? Actually, you know what I think bishop f1 is about? I'm not sure it's meant to cover g2. Probably in some lines it does a good job of that. But I'm actually thinking that when we move our bishop, none of the other squares are good. That's what I think. I think here he can possibly take us. I think here we're blocking our d pawn. I think here he could take us. So that's my assessment. Yeah. So what actually happened? Let's go back. Okay, so I did play c3. And he actually played knight to f5. So he did not play b5. He played knight f5. And I had not seen this before, and I was a little suspicious of it because, I mean, okay, like what, you're going to move your knight a million times in the opening? Like yes, he can come to d6, but that's a lot of tempos that you're spending, And in the meantime, I feel like white will achieve some things, especially development-wise. So, yeah, knight to f5, and let's see if it is a move. I don't think it is. It is not a move. But the engine does not hate it. It really doesn't. Like, it actually, it almost equates it with b5. and the move h6, which is also interesting. Now, if h6, I think this is interesting. I think we can go here. Like, why not? This is fried liver attack style. Now, black should probably take the knight. And then what? I guess then we could take here. And if they were to take back, we could castle. Is this an actual line? Like, doesn't seem to be. But the engine is like okay with this. And now it gives bishop d6, which prevents us from playing d6 check. But like if we don't castle and we go d6 check, I thought they could go bishop e6. I guess white's better there. They should actually go king g6. Wow. And the position's equal. Nope, it's changing its mind. Bishop d3 check is strong now. That's a weird move too. Okay, so clearly there's a lot to learn in these lines, but they're wild, and that's what makes them fun. That's what appealed to me about knight d4. So after c3, knight f5, I actually just castled here. I thought about sacking on f7, to be honest with you, because I wasn't so sure this is a real move. But what I calculated was knight takes f7, king takes f7, d6 check, bishop e6. And I thought, okay, well there I could play bishop takes e6, and on king takes e6, I could even go pawn takes c7, queen takes c7. But I feel like in that position, like, isn't that rook like ready to come in the game? And I'm not castled. I have like no development. I'm like trading off my only active pieces. So that just feels like, okay, that's not anything. And let's just make sure the engine agrees. Yeah, it does agree already. So after this, if check here, yeah, if we take, okay, we've drawn the king up. That's why I looked at this. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't like this move. But, you know, even if we go queen b3 check, which I looked at as well, yeah, they can just go king d7. Okay, if I go here, they go here. I mean, this just looks silly, doesn't it? I mean, I have a check here. I think I saw this during the game, actually. I saw this check. But I mean, he could even block. It's like, what am I doing? Just losing. That's what I'm doing. So I did realize that knight f7 is not a thing in this position. So I actually just castled. I'm like, okay, well, if I need development, then I'll develop, and maybe I'll sack later. Only problem with castles, I thought, is that he could play h6, which he did do. So my plan was knight f3, and if he went knight to e4, I was just going to play knight e5. And I actually thought this looked reasonable for me, even if he attacked my knight. I feel like I have options there for sure. Do I have options? I probably could play f4. Like f4, and if en passant, then I play knight takes f3. So I did play knight f3, and he did play e4, and I did play this move, knight to e5. Now the engine gives a better move here. It gives rook to e1, just pinning the pawn and getting our rook on a open file lined up with the king. That makes a lot of sense to me. But instead I went knight e5. And okay, I need to turn the engine off or I'll keep looking. Okay, so in this part of the game, my opponent, what did they play? I'm pretty sure they went knight to d6. Yeah, they did. Okay, so they got that nice square for their knight. It is a nice square. And that attacks my bishop. So I move back, of course. And then he went bishop to e7. Yeah, and I really felt strongly here that I have a really nice position. and that maybe I could even sack again. But the only problem is the knight's guarding it, so that's not going to work. And I'm sure I thought about something else. Don't remember exactly what. I thought about going f3, but then I started questioning myself. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to play f3. like, what am I doing? Like, just develop. You have a good position. If you keep developing, your position will remain good. So I settled on the move d4. And you can see that that's my own annotation, by the way. I determined that this was dubious later. I actually think f3 is the best. And yeah, you can see. I think it is the best because when I was analyzing this, I mean, he can't really take. That is not a good, that's not a good development for him. His strong pawn on e4 is gone. My queen has developed, and now there's all sorts of pressure on f7. Too much. I mean, this just feels ridiculous. And black's behind a development, so I don't like this position. But if he doesn't take it, like let's say he just castles, then I can take on e4 with my pawn, and this opens up my rook on the f file, and that feels like definitely a step forward for white. So if I turn on the engine, let's see what it says. Yeah, it likes f3. It also likes c4, which I didn't really consider. That looks even crazier than f3. But I know what the idea is here. We're clearing the square for our knight. I believe that's what we're doing here. We're going to put the knight on c3. And in addition, we're safeguarding this pawn, getting more center control, and we're actually threatening c5, kicking that knight away. So once that knight kicks away, we might play d6 at some point. So c4 does make sense to me, and I do look at that move closer a little bit later. I think I actually play it. See, ideas like that, this is why I think it's good to look at a lot of openings, or a lot of games even, because I hate to go on a tangent here, but I think this is an interesting point. I have seen this c4 idea in another opening that I play quite a bit. It's in a Smith-Morra declined. I'm just going to show it really quickly. So if we go into a Smith-Morra, which is this, now accepted as that, but often they play d3, pushing past. So here I would take with a bishop. They play something like knight c6. And I kid you not, like the main move in this position is c4. And the idea is that, yes, we're losing a tempo, but black lost a tempo because they played d3 just to give that pawn away. So we actually have time to play c4. And the idea is let's get the knight on c3. And, now the knight's very good on c3. It's protecting e4. We might rotate this way. We might go to d5. And so, yeah, so that's where I've seen that idea. So it's kind of funny that it came up in a different opening that if I had not seen that idea before, I would never come up with it, I don't think. But okay, in the actual game, let's go back after knight e5 there, bishop e3, bishop e7. Yeah, I played d4. This move seemed reasonable to me. I put dubious on it, but it's actually fine. I mean, white was plus 2.2 here, and now white is like plus 1.7. So, I mean, an advantage, a pretty good advantage even. Let's turn the engine back off. Okay, so I'm inviting en passant here. I think that's probably the downside of the move. Yeah, you know what? I'm not using the engine right now, but I think after en passant, queen takes. I think the issue here is that we lose time because now black can play bishop f5 with tempo on the queen, and that's probably a little bit unnecessary. So we don't need to do that. Okay. So in the game, though, black, they didn't take en passant. They just castled. And now I played that move c4. So, yeah, I was really loving my position here. I'm like, wow. I'm like really imagining like a big kingside attack. I've got a strong center. I might go c5. I might even go f5. Definitely it won't take much to get my knight in the game. So, well, actually, I was going to go to c3. That was sort of the point. So was this the best move, though? Turns out the engine likes rook e1, and it likes a4, which I did not consider at all. Why would I play a4 here? I have no clue why I would play a4. Yeah, I've got nothing on that one. It looks like it wastes time to me, but okay. I'm sure there's some reason. It also, I mean, we can go knight d2 right now. But to me, this felt way more awkward than actually playing c4. Okay. Computer actually likes knight d2 better. Anyway, let's turn the engine back off. Okay, so my opponent went knight to f5. Avoiding this with tempo. But, I mean, their knight basically has done this. So they moved their knight 5 times in 12 moves and ended up back on a square that it's already been to. So I was very suspicious. I was thinking, you know, I know these knights are fairly good, but this pawn's good too. But I'm, you know, I think my center is quite nice, and I thought white must be better here. Turns out that is true. Okay, so let's play knight c3. That was the point earlier. And now my opponent chose to play bishop e4, which again, I was suspicious. The bishop did come to e7. Now it's coming back to b4. So I was not impressed with the play of my opponent thus far in the game. Perhaps lulling me into a false sense of security. Okay, a little bit of foreshadowing. Okay, but I mean, bishop b4 is not the worst move in the world. I think he's sort of like clearing lines. That's kind of what I figured. Like, that opens up the queen, and he probably wants to go rook e8, attack that. He could always drop back and attack the knight that way. So this seemed, you know, reasonable. But I also thought if he wants to take that knight, that seems like a good development for me. I am not upset about that. But then I looked further and I thought, okay, let's go knight e2. This is what I played in the game. I don't know if this is the best move. Kind of doubt it. But I thought it was an interesting move because I'm saying your bishop is doing nothing. He's just like sitting there now, waiting to get kicked by a3. And in the meantime, my knight is coming towards the king side, and I was thinking I would go for an attack at some point. So I felt like this was a good move. Now it turns out, let's just see for a second, the engine likes to move a3 right away. So we're trying to get them to take. And this is a good position. Oh, and then it wants to go b5. Okay, so now we understand why it wanted a4 earlier, I think. Yeah. They're going to take on d5. That's the point, I think. Like if we take here, yeah, they take on d5. Okay, interesting. But after a3, they could just go here. And then it wants to go c5. Oh, I see. Now, I feel like something like that happens in the game. But we'll find out. Okay, so after knight e2 and the engine's back off, my opponent went bishop d6. Yeah, and I saw this coming because I was like, well, you know, he can attack the knight and go rook e8 and attack it again. And it's really not pleasant for me. I can go bishop f4 and protect it. But I was just kind of wondering if he could then attack again, maybe knight g4 or something. So I defended immediately, and then he went rook to e8. So this is what I thought was going to happen when I circled this. Yeah, I mean, so I noticed moves like this because, okay, a defender just came off of f7. I was actually wondering if I could sack right now. Like, is that totally crazy or what? Like, if we did and he took here, I mean, he could also play bishop takes f4, I guess. But no, because I would take the queen. So if takes and king takes. I don't know, c5, if here, I mean, there's a check. I'm not like discover attacking anything though. I was very, I don't remember what I calculated here, to be honest. But let's go ahead and check with the engine and see if there's anything. It doesn't seem like it. No, there's nothing here. It just gives bishop d2, which doesn't make much sense. Let's say we went here. Yeah, this is good for black, taking like this. We go here. We go g6. I guess preparing to tuck the king away on g7. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of got the feeling this wasn't going to be right. But in the game, I played c5 immediately. That seems like a reasonable move, and I thought he would take my knight, and he did. And I thought here, even though he's attacking this twice, now that I've moved the pawn, you know, I'm protecting with the queen. So I actually thought this just helps me build a very strong center, but I kind of missed the next move, which was knight to g4. Yeah, I kind of missed this. And by kinda, I mean I missed this because the knight came forward, and the idea is that he's attacking that pawn. That pawn's attacked twice now. Good luck defending it, right? It's hard to defend. So I started looking at some different moves here. One of the first moves I looked at was f3, because I thought if he takes there, I take here. But then I was like, well, wait, if f3, I get forked. I'm not sure I want to do that. So I looked for other things. I mean, another idea is to go knight d4 or knight g3 and attack that knight. I'm not sure what that really does, though. Knight g3 attacks that pawn. So, but then I thought, okay, they could trade first of all, but they could also just take there. And then if I played knight takes e4, there's discoveries in that position. So I kind of felt like, why am I doing this? Not that any of the discoveries are good, just what I thought during the game as well. Yeah, so what is the actual best move here? Yeah, if you want to pause your video and find it, go ahead and do so now. I think this moment is one of the reasons I love chess, because there seems to exist like hidden resources in the position that the engine can show me, but I don't think I ever would have came up with this on my own. But the idea does make a lot of sense. Okay, the first move, and I'm not using the engine because I have a flashcard on this, so I think I understand it. Bishop a4. Okay, let's attack that rook. Now, if he wants to take immediately, he's going to have to lose material, right? So that doesn't seem like such a good idea. Now, if he goes bishop d7, I'm not sure about that either. Could I go c6 right away? I'm not sure. I'm going to turn the engine on for that. Like, if they play this, yeah, c6. Okay, and if they take here, then we can go d takes c6. Okay, and if here, they're not winning that pawn anymore. And if they back off like that, that's awkward. And we could even trade queens, pulling the rook off of it. So, yeah, just interesting, right? And then we could play e6 even. And if they take like this, what is the idea behind e6? I'm not totally sure. I guess we're going to take on c7. Yeah, we can do this, but it also likes h3 first, even better. Anyway, this is complicated, right? Pretty complicated. So anyway, I would actually expect this move because, okay, the rook is avoiding this, but staying on the pawn. Like, you know, I feel like this is the critical thing. We're trying to see if they can win our pawn or not. But I think now we go d6. And if they try to go here, once again, staying on that pawn, well, now we have d7. So they actually can't play that way at all. d7 is sufficiently protected, and that bishop is trapped. So black will lose material. So I think this bishop a4 idea followed by d6 is pretty awesome, and that saves our pawn. Instead, in the game, one of those moments I'm not excited to show you guys. I ruled out f3 right away. But after looking at a bunch of stuff, I came back to f3. And I was like, oh, just like really quickly, I was like, oh, he can't fork me because I take. And for some reason, I forgot that another knight will come in. Like, I can't explain this. I can't explain this. But one thing that I did know is I was kind of considering sacking the exchange earlier in the same way. And I thought that I might have some compensation. Turns out that is true. Like, believe it or not. But even after this move, white is still better here. Yeah, white is still better here. So now I had to decide, do I want to take the knight and let the other knight in? Or do I just want to make a different move? I went queen d2, I'm pretty sure. I remember the engine doesn't like this move. Let me see if I can figure out why. No, it does. It's fine. What else would I even play, honestly? Oh, it just takes. So what does the engine want here? I'm really curious, actually. This is much better for white. Because after knight takes c3, oh, I know, queen d4. So we're just winning the pawn. That's what that's about. Well, I do have to say, with the pawn gone, that's going to be quite a nice position. So they take here, we take back. I guess they could take on f3, though. If they take on f3, we take with a rook. Yeah, the white position is really nice. I mean, yeah, we're down the exchange, but this bishop is amazing. I mean, we're going to go d6 at some point. The pressure on f7 is real. The knight is going to jump into action. I don't know where, but it looks really good. So, yeah, white's actually nearly winning here, believe it or not. Just fascinating. Okay, but with the engine off, let's go back. Queen d2 is what I played. Seemed more reasonable to me. I didn't want to give up my two bishop advantage, especially since I'm going down the exchange. So shows what I know. Takes, e takes f3 he played. So I took with a rook, of course. And he played g5, which I did not expect. Yeah, I did not expect this move at all. It feels wrong. It feels really weakening for Black's king, who is probably going to get under a little bit of pressure. So I was really surprised by that. So naturally, I started looking for ways to sack my bishop. hey, I sacked an exchange already. Why not sack a bishop? So I think I do. I think I go e6 here. Yeah, now e6 though, I think is just a blunder. Yeah, I don't like it. The problem with e6 is that he doesn't have to take my bishop right away. He can take here. Oh, which he did. I guess that is a blunder though. But the pawn guards the knight, and I think that's pretty annoying. So actually, he should take here first. My plan was queen takes f4. This is really what I was planning. And I thought here, I was actually planning this. I remember this. But is this not so good? No, this is winning for white. I probably overlooked some other move Black has, so I'll leave the engine on. Let's just look. After here, takes. What? Oh, they have to go queen f6 in this moment. They cannot take that. Queen f6. Okay, now the position's equal. Guards the knight. Guards that square. I mean, I can take the knight though, right? If I do take the knight though, they trade. Now I'm just down material. Too many trades. I kind of have to trade because what else can I do really? And when they do this, my knight's hit. I probably have to just go knight d4 or something. But now I'm just down material and there's no there's really no compensation here for the exchange. I'm up a pawn, but that's not enough. Am I up a pawn? Yeah, I'm up a pawn. Okay. So anyway, in the game though, f takes e6. And now I played the move. Oh, I do remember this. I was planning a move here and I was really unsure of it during the game. But I also felt like I lost material. So I've got to play brilliant now. And if I don't, I'm probably going to lose. So I played bishop to e5. Turns out that is the only winning move for white. It is winning. But don't ask me why. Okay, but this is the move I was planning. Why did I plan this? I thought, I was taking squares away from the king. This other bishop's over here. This is kind of looking pretty rough all of a sudden. I'm still threatening takes also. Actually, I'm not because they would take my queen. Wow, then I might have check, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, here I was actually very concerned about the move pawn takes pawn. I was very concerned about this move. Now, I would not know what to play here. That unleashed a discovery on my bishop. The engine says just step back. Bishop c3. White's much better. Like winning better. Wow. I guess they can't really do... Why can't they do that? Oh, it's pinned. That's pinned. They cannot push the pawn. And if they just go c6, we go knight g3. If they trade, we go h takes. Okay. If they go, I don't know, rook e4, I don't know. We go bishop c2. Yeah, it's hard for me to understand why this is winning, but I imagine it's the black king. is the problem here. It's definitely the black king. Okay, but in the actual game, after bishop to e5, my opponent played b6, which, yeah, I don't know about that move either. So I was definitely thinking I might be winning again. So that move just did not seem right to me. I was way more concerned about e takes d5. And well, here, you know, I got too brilliant for my own good. It turns out that if I just play normal, white's actually just much better because we have too much play against the king. But I decided to get crazy and I played this move. Bishop takes c7. Now, if you want to pause your video and figure out why I played that move, what was my idea, but also why does it not work? Go ahead and do so now. I think it's a good exercise. Yeah, so I thought this move was great. I was like, ooh, look, I'll take. They take back. I take the knight. If they take there, I play d6 check. That's a discovery. I win the queen and the game. That's what I thought. And so I thought they actually wouldn't. So I actually thought after rook takes knight, they wouldn't take here. They would play queen takes c5. Only one problem. When I calculated this, I did not see that it was check. I missed that it was check somehow. And, well, that changes everything. I mean, if it's not check, I think I was actually planning, like, let's pretend it wasn't check, okay? Like king h1 and this, I'll just throw that in. I was actually planning on maybe doing something like this. Because I thought, okay, I mean, he's either going to get mated or I can get a perpetual. Turns out even that was wrong. King f7 and black will escape and be winning. But who knows if he would have found that? I don't know. I guess it's the only move, though. Like, what? Like, who's crazy enough to go that way? So he would have gone here, I think. Could also go here, though. But then I have this. So yeah, he would have played here. So I'm not totally sure what I would have done from here, but you know, that was sort of my plan. And I wasn't totally committed to rook takes g5 either, but it's what I had in mind. So yeah, this is just a blunder, a really sad way to end the game because, okay, in this position, I mean, what can I really do? You know, if I just go king f1, my rook's hanging. He'll take it. So I kind of have to move my rook and stop check. So I thought rook f2 is basically forced. Now, I still have some tricks in mind, but, you know, he played rook f8. That attacks the rook again. So I played knight to d4. Now it's blocked. So I thought that was good. But then the problem is he can actually just trade. Now my knight is pinned. So I went... Oh, actually I took with the queen. Yeah, I thought if I take this way, you know, he'll go e5, attack the pinned knight. I'm going to lose material. So I took with the queen. But now here he has queen c1 check. She did play. So, I mean, what to do? I've got to play queen f1 and let him trade. And now he played this very nicely. Checking my king. I have to go somewhere. Check me again. I have to go somewhere. Then take the pawn. I take back with check, but king h8. You know, that's fine. Yeah, I actually was hoping he might do that, but yeah, he didn't do that. That'd have been nice. King h8, and looks like I didn't input the rest of the moves of the game. There were some more, but it was me just seeing if he would mess up. Also, I was in severe time pressure by now, which is not unusual for me. So kind of a sad loss for me, where I was better like the whole game. and had like a couple winning continuations, and like I just blundered out of nowhere. You know, I just made this blunder out of nowhere. I mean, two blunders if you count the exchange I lost earlier with f3. So, I mean, if we look at this game as a whole, it's like, you know, I spent time on playing so precisely, you know, in the opening, looking for winning sacrifices and things like that. But, you know, none of that matters if I'm just going to blunder later. So I have to remember that, you know, most chess games are not decided in the opening or the early middle game when you get slight advantages and find precise moves. They're mostly decided in the end when you're in time pressure or at some critical moment. And for me, those critical moments came, where were they? Let's see. Yeah, the first one was here when I overlooked this move, attacking my pawn. Now, this is a moment that I think I should dig in. Now, unfortunately for me, I did dig in and all I found was a blunder, probably because I couldn't find anything. That's probably why. But this bishop a4 move, what a nice move that is. I guess you have to see this though. That's kind of hard for me to see. I don't know. Like here and then trade queens here. This is all looking pretty good all of a sudden, right? I would have to see that continuation, but also see that if they go here, we can go d6, and if they go here, we have d7. If I could have just seen those two lines on bishop a4, just those two lines, I think I would have been okay. But instead, I played f3. Now, lucky for me, I'm still better here, and I end up winning, like, later in the game still, like, in a winning position still. So, you know, that was a mistake, but it's like, it didn't ruin the whole game. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought this was probably a critical moment. Yeah, it was, actually. I mean, I should, wow. I didn't realize this, but knight g3 is a move here. Knight g3. So if they take our bishop, we take their knight to draw their bishop out. Then we take on f4. So they're going to have to move their bishop and protect the pawn. So bishop g6. But now d6. Let's go. Scary. Yeah, and it says they have to go like queen g5. I don't know what's going on here. I would take like this, I'm sure. They should take back. Wow, and this far down the line, we cannot take like this. This is not good enough. Because they go king h8, and we're just down material. What we have to do is play rook g3, pinning the queen to the king. Okay, and then they'll probably take. We take check. Let's say king f8. Okay. And wow, I mean, even if I saw this position from a distance, I would not know that white's winning here. Like, we have to go queen f4, pinning the bishop. The king is trapped. Oh, and we're threatening this. So they should go rook e6, protecting that. And then we have queen b4. Yeah, I don't know. I would not know that this is winning. I mean, they have two rooks and a bishop, right? But our pawns are really strong. It's confusing to me, but white's winning, I guess. Okay, anyway, that was, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I know nothing about chess. This is one of those moments. Okay, but after g4, I did sack my bishop. He wouldn't take it, so I played bishop e5, and he went here, which was a horrible mistake. And now I can win the game with knight d4, or knight g3, or knight c3. Basically, any move that doesn't blunder. And somehow, I decided to blunder with bishop takes c7, just missing Yeah, I mean, I'll show you. I mean, I saw this from here, right? I saw it takes. I was in a little bit of time pressure too. I saw it takes, and if takes, I play d6 check and win the game because it's a discovery with the bishop. I check the queen on c7 and win the game. I saw that much. Then I also saw that after here takes, he really cannot take the rook. And I thought he would go queen c5. Now, how did I not know that was check? It's clearly check. So just a blunder. Just a blunder. Now, so that is why I lost this game. This moment right here. Yeah, so, okay. I don't like losing to people in the 1400s, but I don't like losing to anyone really, but what I hate worse is losing like this, where I just overlook something simple after being so careful the whole game, but I was in a little bit of time pressure. And when I saw this move, I just got excited. I was like, ooh, this will be such a cool way to win the game. I started thinking things. I'm like, ooh, I'll show my coach. I'll make a video on this. Everyone's going to be like, wow, Stacia's really improving after all. And I'll even believe it myself. You know, that's kind of what I was thinking. But that is, you know, that's just a distraction. You know, in chess, you need to be objective. Any emotions, including excited ones, are just going to lead to mistakes and non-objectivity. So really here I should have been like, okay, if this is the best move, I'll play it. And if it isn't, I should play something else, you know? And I don't think it's that hard to see that after takes, queen c5 check, it doesn't work, you know? Just doesn't work. So, I guess that's it for that game. Sorry. I feel like I'm not happy, but it's probably because I'm not happy. But, you know, I want to show you guys my whole journey, and that includes these moments where I just mess up. I just plain mess up. Because aside from this, you know, I think I should have won this game. I feel like this is clearly a game I should have won. But someday I'll learn to be more careful at the right times in the games. So, and I do plan on playing Parma tomorrow, or maybe today for you guys. So I will definitely be thinking about that for that. So, all right, I've rambled enough. I hope that you enjoy the video, and I'll be back with round 3. I'll see you then. Bye.